What day of the week is good for love spells? And what about a spell for positive outcome during a legal matter? Now, each day of the week has a different energy that's associated with it, and we can use that energy to enhance our spell work. At the same time, we experience this energy coloring our mundane world as well, and so there are certain days that are better for certain tasks. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the energy of the days of the week, then this episode is for you. I'm Aislin. This is Ask Aislin. Merry Meet. I'm here today talking about magic and the days of the week. So if you are joining me live, hi everybody. We had a technical problem in the beginning. I'm assuming due to Mercury retrograde. I went live about 10 minutes ago and there was a problem, a glitch in the system. So I'm here now talking about magic in the days of the week. So saying hi to those joining us live. You can leave questions and comments in the chat for the Q&A and also leave a heart or a thumbs up. It helps us get the video out to the feed of more people. So I'm going to dive in. We're going to talk about each of the days of the week in turn. We're going to talk about spells and correspondences that are good for those days of the week. And we'll also be talking about things you can do in your mundane life to kind of tap into this daily energy, okay? So let us dive in. Now, not every day of the week has the same energy. That's why we even have a episode like this today. We can use energy from different days of the week to facilitate our magic and also to lend that energy to our day-to-day tasks. Now, there are deities, colors, stones, tarot cards, scents, herbs, all of these different things associated with the days of the week. And when we combine things that have similar energies, we stack all of that on top of each other and it ends up enhancing our magic. So what we're going to do here is we'll be talking about all of this. We're going to start by talking about Sunday. Now, most magical systems agree that Sunday is the first day of the week, which is often interesting to think about since in the Western world and in the world in general, we consider Monday to be the start of the week. But really, from a magical perspective, and you'll learn why in a second, Sunday truly is the start of the week. Now, Sunday is ruled by the sun. It has an energy that is very warm and positive, illuminating and strong. And it has very much a new moon energy to it, which is why it makes sense for it to be the start of the week. Now, it's very good for new beginnings, and if you may notice on a Sunday that you feel more energized and creative. Perhaps you get more things done on a Sunday. So if you are having trouble starting something, perhaps there's something you've been trying to start for a while and you're having trouble with that, go ahead and give it a try on a Sunday and see if that shifts anything for you. Now, Sunday also governs matters of health. So it is a very good day to start a health regime. So bringing in exercise, a new dietary pattern, anything that you're hoping, starting supplements, anything that you're going to do that aids your health is a good time to start it on a Sunday. Now, as far as spell work goes, Sunday is a good day for spells for agriculture. That was oftentimes what Sundays were used for in days of old, magical workings that could enhance agriculture and the crops. In our modern world, where the majority of us are not growing crops, it is a good time for spells of self esteem, self confidence, and self expression. So, anything where you need that kind of fiery sun energy, Sunday is a good day for that. Job spells are good on Sundays, as well as any spell that has to do with work, like promotions, getting raises, anything involving your business, for example. Sunday is also a good day for spell work that has to do with healing, but especially has to do with health. So we'll see in a moment when we talk about Monday. Monday is a really good day for spells of healing. Sunday also is, but Sunday in particular is a good day for a spell to create good health. Like it's all about the sun, our strength, our vitality. And also, if you need extra strength, Sunday would be a good day to do a spell for that. So just saying hi to those who are joining us. I see Kurt and Amy are here. Hi, everybody. Now, the deities that are associated with Sunday are solar deities like Lu, Ra, Helios, Apollo, Bel, Breed, and Amaterasu, one of my personal favorites. So, this is not an exhaustive list in any way. Colors associated with Sunday are gold and yellow. And herbs that would be associated with Sunday would be marigold, sunflower, lemon, cedar, frankincense, and St. John's wort. So why I'm telling you all this too is if you decided that you wanted to do a spell on Sunday for one of those things, like enhancing self-esteem, creating good health, putting a health regime in place, you could use any of these correspondences during your spell work. Stones that are associated with Sunday are the diamond, amber, gold, topaz, carnelian, and one stone that I really love for Sunday is sunstone. And then there is always a tarot card or sets of tarot cards that are associated with Sunday. So, because of its solar energy and fire energy, we would expect any of the wands cards to fit here. But the card that really is the quintessential card for Sunday is the sun. So if you are working with tarot, this would be a good day, and especially if you're somebody who's learning tarot, this would be a good day to meditate on the sun card or meditate on one of the wands cards and see what that card means to you. So that is Sunday. We're going to shift our perspective or shift our focus now to Monday. Now, Monday is the moon's day, so it is infused with the energy of the moon. Now, there are so many different faces of the moon, and so Monday can be a day of a lot of shifting emotions. So if you think about the moon's influence, it's very much influences that kind of water aspect in us. It very much influences our emotional state. And so it's not unusual for people to feel a little bit more emotional on Monday. So good to take it easy on yourself, right, during that time. Now, the moon is also very much connected to our intuition. So our intuition is often very much heightened on a Monday as well. So this would be a good day for doing divination, connecting to your guides, especially if you've had trouble doing that in the past. Now, it's also a good day to go and get readings done on Mondays because just as your intuition is enhanced, so is the intuition of other people, which means that the readers will be doing an especially good job on Mondays. Now, because of the shifting tides of the moon and that kind of emotional energy, you may find that you are more indecisive on a Monday. So, I recommend that people not make really big decisions on a Monday if you can avoid it. Could be better to wait till a little bit later in the week, maybe even the Sunday is a good day for decision making because you have the kind of the energy of the sun behind you. But Monday, if you can avoid it, I would avoid making decisions. Now, Monday is also a good time to work with women or to work on matters related to women, women's well being, and women's health. Now, the moon also very much connects to our unconscious, so that makes Monday a good time for shadow work. Now, we'll see later that there are other days of the week that are good for shadow work, in particular Saturday, just like there are other days of the week that are good for working on health, Monday and Sunday. So sometimes there's going to be overlap between the days and their energies. Now, if shifting our focus into more of the magical side of this, spell work that is good on Monday is healing. My God, my cat is screaming in the background, and it's just, I don't know what he's yelling about. He wants somebody to play with him, I think. Loki! Let's see if he comes in here to join us. I can't even concentrate, he's so loud. Loki! So, spell work for Monday, healing, family work, spells for your family, spells for children, spells for fertility. Very good on a Monday to tap into that lunar energy. Like I mentioned earlier, Monday is the day of kind of the divine feminine, so a good day for women's issues, spells relating to women's issues or women's health. Dream magic, also very great on a Monday because of that connection to the moon and the unconscious. Um, Magic for animals, also very good on Monday, as well as any magic that has to do with your emotions or your emotional state. Now, the deities that are connected to our Monday are lunar deities like Selene, Luna, Diana, Artemis and Chandra, who is a deity of the Hindu pantheon. Now, this is again not an exhaustive list, but just gives you kind of an idea. Any deity connected to the moon is great for Monday. Colors, silver, green, and blue. So kind of think of the colors of the ocean. Those would be the colors of Monday. Herbs would be jasmine, sandalwood, myrtle, gardenia, and willow. And again, all these are not exhaustive lists, but meant to give you some idea of some of the correspondences that you can use. Stones, moonstone, one of my personal favorites, especially rainbow moonstone. Any kind of quartz, especially clear quartz, is great for Monday. Pearl and selenite, one of the very, very best stones that there is. So cleansing. Literally is a stone that you can take another stone. Like if you have a, like I always wear my labradorite when I'm out in public, because it's very good at absorbing negativity to make sure that that doesn't affect me. But it picks up a lot of things, right, when we're out and about. And so placing a stone on selenite overnight is just a good way to naturally cleanse it. And you can buy long pieces of selenite. Like I have a long piece of it, and I just place stones that I've worn during that day or I'm working with. I want to clear them. I put them on the selenite. So off on a tangent there, but selenite is just such a great stone to work with. And then as far as tarot cards go, because of the connection to water and emotions, any card of the cups suit would be great for working with on a Monday. And especially the moon card, of course, is connected to Monday as well. And so just like I mentioned with the sun card or any of the wands cards, here you can, if you're somebody who's working with tarot, especially if you're really learning how to, trying to learn tarot intuitively, just meditating on Monday on a card like the moon or one of the cups cards can be very helpful. See a few others joining us in the chat. Pamela's here and Joshua. Hi, everybody. Good to see you guys. And again, if you have any questions or comments, if you work with the magical days of the week, I'd love to hear your experience. Do you time your spells to specific days of the week? I don't always, but it can be an extra added layer to our magic. So we'd love to hear from anybody about your experiences. Okay, so moving on to Tuesday. So Tuesday is the day that we're filming this, and Tuesday is ruled by the planet Mars, which means Tuesdays tend to have more fiery energy to them. Now, you may find, because of this, that you yourself have more energy, which means is if you have something to do that requires a lot of energy, Tuesday would be a good day to do it. Sunday is also a good day to do it because of the enhancement of the sun. But Tuesday here, you have this energy to really take action and get things done. So if there's something that you're just not able to get done, try it on a Tuesday, see if things shift for you. Tuesday is also a day, because of that extra energy that you might have, you may find that you want to sort of move some of that through your body, through exercise, through physical activity of some kind. It's a good day to go take a walk or a hike, lift weights, Pilates, whatever it is that you like to do, yoga. Monday is also a day that is, Tuesday is also a day that is fueled by passion. And so sexual energy tends to be amplified on a Tuesday. Now, Tuesday can be a challenging day for people emotionally, though. So, whereas Monday, you may find that your emotions are all over the place, on Tuesday, sometimes the emotions get kind of hot. So, if you are more prone to anger and disagreement in general, you may find that amplified on Tuesdays. If you're somebody who doesn't usually have those energies in you, you might find that you feel them on Tuesdays. So if you are, kind of feeling that, what I recommend that people do is take breaks, take deep breaths to help calm yourself. If you're feeling kind of those hot emotions coming up, you can try, there's a couple of breaths, like anytime that you're doing deep breath work, that's very calming. So like long inhales and long exhales, even better. Do a longer exhale than an inhale. So a count of 4 in and a count of 8 out, perhaps, will be very calming. Satali pranayam, which is the sipping breath, is also a really calming breath, which is very good on a Tuesday. If you can curl your tongue, you do the breath by curling your tongue and then sipping the air in through that curled tongue, and then you close your mouth and you exhale through the nose. If you can't curl your tongue, I can't, it doesn't make a difference. Then you just pretend like you are sipping through a straw as you sip in air, close the mouth, and then you exhale through the nose. So excellent, excellent, excellent breath for bringing down hot emotions like anger. It can be good for anxiety as well. I consider anxiety to also be kind of a hot, agitated emotion. Now, shifting into like spell work for a Tuesday. Tuesdays, oh, actually, one more thing before we shift into the spell work, too. If you are facing any type of a challenge in your life, you can use the energy of a Tuesday to try to overcome it. So it's a good day for kind of facing challenges head on, maybe looking to the universe for a different viewpoint, a different perspective. Spell work, spells that have to do with passion. Sex magic is perfect for a Tuesday for that reason. Any spells that have to do with your willpower, your drive, bringing more energy into your life. Spells for courage. Spells for physical strength. So if you have something coming up and you know you need a lot of physical strength for it, like a move or I don't know, you're working for Habitat for Humanity and you're going to build a house to help people, and you know that's coming up, you could do a spell on a Tuesday for some physical strength. Spells for surgery, very good on a Tuesday, and also breaking negative spells. So if you feel that there is a spell that's been done against you, Tuesday's a good day to break it. Saturday is also a good day for that, as we will learn later. Now, colors associated with Tuesday are scarlet, red, and orange, so some fiery colors like Mars. Plants, fiery herbs, basil, ginger, cinnamon, black pepper, dragon's blood, and patchouli would be great incenses for a Tuesday. Now, deities associated with Tuesday, Tyr, which is where the Tuesday, one origin of where the name Tuesday may come from, Mars and Aries, but really any fire deities work here, like Hephaestus. Any deities of the like smith working, Breed is a good deity for Tuesday. Pele, good deity for Tuesday as well. Stones, you can work with bloodstone, garnet, and ruby. Any stones that are red and fiery would be good here. And then when it comes to tarot, I would look at the Ace of Wands in particular. The whole entire Wands suit works well here, but the Ace of Wands in particular. So if anybody has seen the Rider-Waite version of this card, it is a hand with a wand in it, and it's like the beginning of something, like taking that fiery energy and moving it towards in whatever direction we are headed. So it's the perfect card to meditate on a Tuesday to really kind of understand what the energy of Tuesday feels like. Okay, and it's Tuesday, and so people in the chat, like Joshua was saying, explains my workday, LOL. Elizabeth said, yeah, definitely use that one today. So, it's always kind of interesting to, after the fact, kind of look at how the day went and kind of think about what day of the week it is and what kind of energy there is. But it's also good to plan ahead. So, if you want to go and do something, plan ahead and do that on a Tuesday. So it can help explain what's been going on, but also it's good to kind of help us know what to do next. Okay, so let's shift over to Wednesday in the middle of the week. In fact, I have a song that I wrote like 25 some years ago that was on my first band's first album, Elysium. The song was called Wednesday, and it's all about how like Wednesday is ruled by the god of Mercury, and so there's shifting energies on a Wednesday. So if something's going to change, it's going to change on a Wednesday. And I always loved like the song said, things may come and things may go, things may change before you know. It only took a moment for everything to change on an ordinary Wednesday. And so if you want something to change, if you want to tap into that shifting energy, Wednesday is the day to do it. Now, Wednesday is aligned with the energy of Mercury. Mercury is the great communicator. So people are generally better able to convey their thoughts on a Wednesday. It's a good day for travel. It's a good day to start a trip or a good day to plan a trip. Or if you have some like plans you need to make for an upcoming trip, this is a good day to do it on a Wednesday. Now, Wednesday also, and Mercury in general, quickens the mind. So, this is a good day to study, a good day to learn, and a good day to take tests. So, if you are a student, or perhaps you have to take a test for your job, or who knows why you'd have to take a test, this, if you can plan out the day you take it, Wednesday would be an ideal day for that. Now, the negative side of kind of the Wednesday energy is that Mercury, because of that connection to the mind, it tends to quicken the mind, which means it quickens the worries too. So on Wednesdays, people may find that they have an excess of worry. So really, it's a time to watch out for mental stress. This would be a good time if you notice you're starting to worry. Try some practices that can ground you. Bring your forehead down to the earth. If you can, take your shoes off and do some earthing. Really try to get grounding. Do the grounding tree meditation. You can also try a breath like Brahmari breath, which is very good for like kind of quieting the anxious mind. Also happens to be a great breath for the throat chakra and for communication. So to do the Brahmari breath, you close off your ears, you take a deep inhale. On the exhale, you close your mouth, you make a buzzing sound, and with your ears kind of closed off, that sound is internal. And so it's very quick. You do this breath, and within only a few rounds of it, people can feel very, very calm. But it's also a really good breath I tell people to do before doing a speech or when they have a tough conversation they have to have with somebody, again, because it activates the throat chakra and makes us better at talking. Um, so let's shift then over to kind of the magical side of Wednesday. So what could we do? So spells related to, you guessed it, communication, travel, journeys of any kind, study and school. Anybody have some a spell that they need to do to get into college or to, you know, get into grad school, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to study. So spells around that, spells to help aid you in test taking. Now, the deities associated with Wednesday are Mercury, Woden, Odin. This is, many people call Odin Mr. Wednesday. It's Wednesday is his day. And in fact, in Neil Gaiman's American Gods, Odin's character was called Mr. Wednesday in the mundane world. Other deities, Hermes, Mercury, of course, Athena, any deities connected to kind of the air element, learning, communication, travel. Colors associated with Wednesday are, I usually think of Wednesday as yellow or orange, but if you look in correspondence books, you'll see people also say purple. Now, personally, I think of purple more as connected to Thursday, but use your intuition when it comes to correspondences. Definitely use your intuition when you look at those lists. If something doesn't seem like it resonates with you for that energy, choose something else, right? Plants and herbs associated with Wednesday, lavender, eucalyptus. These are all very airy herbs. Jasmine, lily of the valley. Not an exhaustive list, of course, but some ideas to get you started. Stones associated with Wednesday, citrine, agate, aventurine, zinc, pumice, and mica. And so if you've seen aventurine, you can get aventurine in many, many different colors. It will often have, I shouldn't say often, I think one characteristic of it is that it has mica in it. So mica very much connected to Mercury. Um, and then the tarot card, I think the best associated with Wednesday is the magician. The magician, of course, some will say that that card itself is connected to Mercury, the god Mercury. But it is the card of kind of to directing our fate, having the power within to direct energy, get things started, get things done, and taking our intention and focusing it out into the universe. All right, so that shifts us to Thursday. And saying hi to just a couple of others who are here. Hi, everybody. And some people are saying this is like their first live here. So nice to see you, Jenny. And yeah, there is absolutely a live Q&A. And so you guys can put questions in the chat as we go. And I'm kind of looking at that. But at the end, for sure, I'm going to answer everything that's in the Q&A. Does not have to be about the days of the week. It could be about anything related to witchcraft, magic, energy work, shadow work. Okay. All right, so welcome everybody. So let's move on now to Thursday. Okay, so Thursday is the day ruled by Jupiter. Um, Now, Jupiter is the largest of all the planets, and so it brings a very big and expansive energy to the day Thursday. So you may find that your luck is heightened on a Thursday. Thursday is probably, if you looked at all the different days of the week, it's the best day to gamble. It's the best day to buy a lotto ticket. It's the best day to do something where you need some luck about you. Thursday is also, Jupiter is a very generous energy. So Thursday is also a very good day for charity work, for giving, for generosity, right? Beginning things on a Thursday can make them more prosperous. So it's a good day for abundance, for prosperity, for drawing things in. Now, I also think that Thursday feels like a really very joyful and happy day. It's a good time to have some fun with your loved ones, with family and friends. And, if you think about it, at least when I work from home now, but there was times when I worked in offices, I worked out in the world. And so a lot of coworkers tend to go out on Thursday nights. And it's just, and it may not be coworkers, at least like in our jobs, we often would go out on a Thursday, but you might go out with your friends. There's just something about Thursday that makes people kind of want to celebrate. And it could be the knowledge that the next day is Friday and the weekend is about to come for those who are on kind of like a Monday through Friday schedule. But I think it also has to do with this Jupiter energy. It just makes people happy. It makes people want to do fun things and be with their friends. Um, so let's talk about spells for a Thursday. Now, Thursday is hands down the best day to do spells for legal matters. Now, this is due to Jupiter's judicious nature. So if you have a court case coming up and you want to do a spell to kind of facilitate a good outcome in that court case, you could do a spell for that on a Thursday. If you need to do a justice spell, so if there's like some injustices being done and you want to do a spell to try to propel that justice energy forward, Thursday would be a great day to do that. Thursday is also a good day for abundance spells of any type, spells to find treasure or wealth, spells to maybe enhance relationships with business partners or with group pursuits. So if you have a group that you run or a group that's very special to you, Thursday would be a good day to do a spell to enhance that. Thursday is also a good day for male infertility spells and any spell where you want some expansion and some luck. This they're doing it on a Thursday is just going to add that kind of lucky, expansive energy to anything you do. Now, the deities of Thursday connected to Thursday: Jupiter and Zeus. Thor, Tyrannus is also a deity connected to Thursday. He is a Celtic god of thunder and of justice. So, kind of looking for sky gods here, these would be the gods really connected to Thursday. Color is connected to Thursday. For me, I always think of purple, but I also personally think that orange is connected to a Thursday. And if you look in some correspondence books, you'll see people say blue and green. So it is worth mentioning here, especially for those of you who are newer to the craft. If you go and you kind of Google this or you look in books about correspondences, you will see a lot of conflicting information sometimes. So it's always good to go to a source that is trusted, and someone that you know who's been practicing for a long time, but also it is good to trust your own intuition. So like I say here, when I look and it says colors for Thursday, I see it says purple, blue, and green. Well, I think it's purple and orange for me. So, using your intuition can be one of the most valuable ways to kind of propel your magic and your magical abilities forward, because you get really good at your intuitive thought. Now, plants, herbs connected to a Thursday: clove, cinnamon, musk, nutmeg, sage, and oak. Not an exhaustive list, but gives you an idea of where to start. Stones connected to Thursday, amethyst, lepidolite, one of my favorite ones, very beautiful stone, sugilite, also a really pretty blue looking stone, and then tin. Now, tin is the metal that is associated with Jupiter, which explains why that's on the list. And then, as far as the tarot cards go, meditating on the Justice card can be good on a Thursday to kind of really understand the essence of that card. Also, I think of the Three of Cups as a Thursday card because, again, it brings in that sort of celebration energy. All right, so moving on to Friday. So we got Friday and Saturday to go, and then I'm just going to briefly talk about planetary hours, and then we'll shift over into the Q&A, okay? So Friday is aligned with the energy of Venus. Friday is all about pleasure, enjoying the fine things in life. So many people may feel like just relaxing, kicking back. It's a good day to spend with women or spend in kind of tapping into the divine feminine. That doesn't matter what gender you are or what gender you consider yourself. We all have the divine feminine energy within us, and we all have a need to tap into that at times. Now, Friday is also a good day to spend time surrounded by beautiful things or nature. So, good time to go to the art museum, go see a concert, go take a walk in a botanical garden. These will all be like great activities on a Friday to really tap into that Venusian energy. Painting your space the color you want, or decorating, buying things to like enhance your home. Those would be good activities on a Friday. Now, Friday is also the perfect day for engagements, weddings, and hand fastings. Now, we'll talk about a bit in a moment when we talk about Saturday, why energetically Saturday isn't really the best day for a wedding or a hand fasting, even though that's the day that the majority of people do it on. But Friday, much, much more aligned to that energy, and we'll see why in just a moment. Now, as far as spell work on a Friday, spells of love, romance, fertility, friendship, finding friends, enhancing the friendships you have, harmony, art, music. If you're an artist, if you're a musician, doing a spell to, enhance your craft would be great on a Friday. Also, this is a day of money and prosperity. So that's all connected to Venus. So you can absolutely do money spells and prosperity spells on a Friday. Now, as far as deities are concerned, Venus and Aphrodite make a lot of sense, right? Any deity associated with love, Freya, Eros, Cupid, Lakshmi, Yemaya, the list can go on and on, but at least those are a few to get you started. Colors, Friday, pink, red, aqua. That mostly has to do with the connection of many love deities to the ocean and the water element. Herbs connected to a Friday, rose, yarrow, lang lang, strawberry, sandalwood, and geranium. Those would all be really good ones for a Friday. I would also add jasmine to that list. And then stones, rose quartz, jade, emerald, malachite, and copper. Now, copper is the metal that's associated with Venus. Some of these other stones, so like pretty much any stone that is like pink in color, like a rose quartz, immediately connects to Friday, to that kind of energy of love. Why these green stones like malachite and jade and emerald are on here is because they're connected to the heart chakra. And so any work that you can do on your heart chakra, you can do that any day, but especially very, very good on a Friday. And then as far as the tarot cards go, I would say the Empress, the Lovers, and also the Two of Cups would also be a good card to contemplate, to kind of really understand the essence of that card, contemplate it on a Friday. Okay, and that brings us finally to the final day of the week. If anybody is joining us kind of later, I mentioned in the beginning of the video that in most magical systems, Sunday is considered the start of the week, which makes Saturday the end of the week. And it makes a lot of sense because Saturday is aligned with Saturn, the Lord of Karma. Now, Saturn has a very restrictive energy, very much opposite Jupiter's expansiveness. But what we have to remember, sometimes people are very afraid of Saturnian energy or really hate Saturn and when Saturn's retrograde and when it's doing things in their chart. But we can't grow without challenges and restrictions. So if we see like if you are looking at astrological charts and there's somebody who has like all these really positive aspects in their chart and there's no like challenges in their chart, oftentimes that person kind of has an easy life, but they don't really do much to progress their lives. So we only really progress when we have challenges placed in front of us, and Saturn is the ruler of all of that. Now, Saturn is about our life's lessons. Saturday is a very good day for doing shadow work, kind of digging down into the unconscious. What Saturday is not a great day for is weddings. And because Saturn has such a constrictive and serious energy. Now, anybody who's already been hand fasted, already been married, it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. It's totally fine. But for those of you who are not married yet and plan to be or are planning weddings, kind of consider it. Days like Sunday, Thursday, and Friday are much more aligned to the energy of union than a day like Saturday is. Saturday is a good day for organization and for reflection and for shadow work, like I mentioned. It's a good day to do tasks, get like the kind of mundane stuff done. It's a good day to pay bills, settle debts, things like that. But Saturn is also very much connected to your spiritual growth, which means Saturday is a great day for spiritual studies. So if you are like taking a course in magic or anything like that, or anything connected to spirituality of any kind, like our Shadow Seekers membership, our Demystifying Witchcraft course, it's a good day to study those things on a Saturday. Anything that requires some deep concentration can also be enhanced on a Saturday. Now, as far as spell work goes, Saturday has kind of like a dark moon feel to it energetically, which is why it makes a lot of sense that it's at the end of the week. Saturday is a good day for banishings, releasings, protection, counter spells, or breaking spells. So if you've done a spell and you don't really want, you don't think it's got a good outcome, you want to redo it, you want to take it back, Saturday would be a great day to break it. Saturday is a good day for shadow work, like I mentioned. Also a good day for spells for breaking habits. So you've got a bad habit and you want to get rid of that. Saturday is a very good day to do the spell to break it. And then Sunday would be a very good day to like bring something extra in, something like kind of that has kind of solar energy, something that's uplifting to you. What else? Saturday is also a very good day for any spells that require self-discipline, or if you need self-discipline around something, maybe there's something you're trying to do and you're just not having the right discipline, Saturday would be a good day to do a spell for that. Deities connected to Saturday: Saturn, Hecate, Kronos, Loki. Any dark moon deities will work here, so my list is very short. But any deity that you would normally work with on a dark moon, you could work with on a Saturday. Colors associated with Saturday: black and dark purple. Plants and herbs: cypress, myrrh would be a really good incense for a Saturday. Mullein, black poppy, and patchouli. Gemstones: obsidian, anything quite dark, onyx, hematite, lead, pewter, and salt. Salt would also be used very much on a Saturday because of its grounding and its cleansing properties. And then as far as the tarot cards go, tarot cards to contemplate on a Saturday: the Hierophant and the Hermit. Very much has Saturn energy connected to it. Okay, so I'm going to kind of finish, before we shift over into the Q&A, I'm going to finish off just by talking about kind of stacking energies on top of each other. So that's what this whole episode is sort of about, is how do we time energy, how do we time our magic to the days of the week. So as far as timing goes, we can time things through lunar timing, the days of the week, and also the planetary hours. Now, additionally, you could throw in some of the correspondences for that day of the week. That's what we were talking about as well. So let's give an example. So let's suppose that someone wants to do a banishing spell, right? Or they want to cut off some kind of energy. They want to get rid of and let go of some kind of energy that they're carrying or that somebody else is bringing into their environment. So when would I do that? I would probably try to do it on a waning moon if possible, especially during the waning crescent, which would be the last 7 days of the lunar cycle. Now, because Saturday is a good day for banishing spells, I would try to find a Saturday during the waning half of the moon, probably during the last 7 days of the cycle. I'd pick the Saturday during that time. Then, on top of it, I might try to do my spell during the planetary hour of Saturn. Now, if you are new to planetary hours, I'm going to drop in the chat a website where you can go and you can calculate them for every single day. Now, it used to be, before there were all these nice calculators, people would calculate planetary hours by hand. Now, what a planetary hour essentially is it's an hour of the day that is thought to be aligned to a specific planet. So how this works is, let's talk about, today is Tuesday. This is the day that we're recording this. So what happens is that to try to make this as simple as possible, and then I'm going to give you the website where you can just go and it will do it all for you. But so basically, if you were doing this by hand, a person would look at the sunrise and the sunset of that particular day. Okay, so let's say it's Tuesday. And they would figure out how many hours were in between sunrise and sunset, and they would divide that into, I think it's 12. I believe it's 12. So what that means is there's some days of the year where the daylight hours are very short, and there are some days of the year where the daylight hours are very, very long. So planetary hours change their length depending on the part of the year that we're in. So once someone figured out how many hours, how many minutes essentially were in from sunrise to sunset, they would divide that into 12, and then they would start by assigning the first hour of the day to the day of the week and the planet that rules that day of the week. So on Tuesday, that would be Mars. So the first hour after sunrise on a Tuesday is the hour of Mars. From there, there's a special order that the planets are then placed in. And then the same thing is done from sunset to sunrise, and those are called the nighttime hours. Okay, so you used to have to go and you would calculate all this, and you'd have to figure out the specific hours to do this. So what I'm going to do here, let's hope I can drop this in the chat. I'm going to put this little link here, and let me do this really quick. And then therefore you guys can go in here and you can look this up for yourself. Now, one thing I will tell you is that it's set for my time zone in Los Angeles, California, and your time zone will be totally different. So up at the top of the website, you can put in your own time zone or your own zip code, and then you can also change the day. So that is set for a Tuesday. You can change, you'll be able to see on the top of it, you can change it to any date, and it will immediately begin to calculate all your hours. And so what you'll find is, let's say, going back to that idea of the banishing spell, I would want to do it on the Saturday, and then I would look for one of the several hours of that day that's associated with Saturn, and then I would do my spell during that hour. Now, I will tell you, I don't always use planetary hours because it's like to me, it's like the icing on the cake. But if you really want to stack all these energies together and you really want to get the timing of a spell right, add the planetary hours in and see if that has an effect. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that, bring that up. If anybody has any questions about how to use that website or how to do a planetary hours, definitely let me know, because that was a really quick little tutorial I did on that. But now we are going to shift over into the Q&A. So if you are here live with us, you can leave questions, and if you haven't already done so, you can leave questions in the chat. I'm going to go through now and answer everyone's questions. Doesn't have to be about days of the week. It can be about anything related to magic, witchcraft, shadow work, or energy work. And I also have 3 questions that were sent to me, so I'm going to read those as well. But before I start with that, let me just go see what's in the chat here. So I see that Joshua said he uses the grounding tree meditation every morning because he's recovering from addiction. So daily grounding rituals help immensely when starting out the day. Absolutely. Especially anybody who's suffering from, addiction, any mental health issues, just not feeling good. Doing grounding in the very beginning of the day, especially if you have a lot of anxiety, can be so, so good. It just sets the tone for your day and can really shift things for you. Jenny said she's new to this. She's always felt a pull, but was never given the chance to dive in. She said, I've been doing a lot of reading and accumulated a lot of crystals in the past 6 months. I'm going to do something on my 1-year anniversary of starting my spiritual journey, but not sure what yet. Yeah, so always so great to mark those anniversaries, and what I also always tell people too is many people will say that they regret not starting this sooner, and we can't regret what we don't know. We come to this when we come to this. Many of us have families or people around us that didn't make it easy for us to follow these paths, right? And so just celebrate like where you are, a year in. It's okay if you're not really, you're accumulating things, you're learning as you go. And I think such a great day to kind of celebrate your 1 year anniversary. You could do a ritual where you dedicate yourself to a deity, perhaps. You can set up an altar. There's so much you can do. I see people like talking about the different stones that they like. Uh, Pamela said she's going to see Lamb of God on Friday, and she said, "Nice to know it's concert day." Yep, Fridays are always concert day. Jenny's going to Smashing Pumpkins tomorrow. I wish I was going to Smashing Pumpkins tomorrow. That sounds awesome. Um, and then Sabrina said Saturday is perfect to study your deities. Yeah, absolutely, because Saturday is such a good day to connect to the spiritual pursuits, including like working with our deities. Yeah, it's great. Um, Sabrina also said, do you find that chimes help in meditation? She said, I'm learning them. I think that chimes can be very meditative for people. Like if you sort of think about like wind chimes outside of your home, it can be very meditative. Some people don't like them, so I wouldn't use a blanket statement to say they're good for everybody. But if you like chimes, absolutely, I think they can very much help with meditation. I think that any kind of sound can help. Music can help as long as you don't get distracted. Like for me, music with lyrics isn't really good. I'm a lyric writer, and so I hone in on words really quickly. So it's not wouldn't be good for me to meditate with music with words, but I find music very helpful in my meditation as well. Okay, Joshua said, can you give a rundown of sigils and how to create and work with them? Okay, good question. So a sigil is it is a magical symbol that you create, and so the easiest way to make one is to come up with an intention. So I always use this as an example because protection is a really good intention for a sigil, but sigils can be used with any intention. So let's say we need protection for whatever reason, right? And so what you want to do is you want to come up with an intention that's in the present tense. So you could say like, I am protected. That would be like a really easy, simple intention to start with. I am protected. And then what you do after you write that down, you're going to go ahead and cross out all of the vowels, and you're going to cross out all letters that repeat. So at the very end of all of this, you should really be left with only a couple of letters, maybe 5 or 6. And then what you do is you take those remaining letters, now all the vowels are gone, all the repeating letters are gone, and you are going to create some kind of a symbol with it. And so you can actually take letters apart. So let's say a B was left. You know how a B is made of like one line and like 2 curves. You can pull all that apart and you can put it back together in any orientation that you want. So you can really knock yourself out and really become elaborate if you're good at art. You can make a really interesting symbol out of this. Personally, for me, I'm not, and so usually what I do is I just kind of put the letters into some kind of orientation. Now, the point of a sigil, at least what people think, is that in the old days, it was a way that you could do magic to be very much hidden. Because if you made a sigil and somebody found it, they have no idea what it says, right? So if we start with I am protected, and at the end of it all, we have this like kind of letters pulled apart and put back into some kind of a symbol, no one's ever going to look at that and say, oh, that says I am protected. And so many people think that's what it was about. And they would be made oftentimes on wax so that they could be thrown into the fire at the end of the ritual or the spell, and all the evidence was gone. Now, in modern day, we don't have to hide as much, so our use of sigils has changed. And so nowadays, what a lot of people will do is they write them on paper and then they burn them. And there's 3 kinds of sigils, really. There is temporary sigil, there's a permanent sigil, and then there is a destructible sigil. So the destructible sigil is the one I just mentioned. It's where you would create it, You would charge it, so you would like make the symbol, you would send your intention into it, and then you would burn it immediately, and then you just forget it. It's just thought that the energy is sent out into the universe. Now with the temporary sigil, the idea is that you don't immediately burn it, you would do something with it. So like one really good way to use a temporary sigil would be like someone's going into court and they're going to make a sigil that maybe they'll draw it on their arm and cover it with their clothing, and then they're kind of protected by that energy as they go into court or they go into any place where they kind of need that protection. And then afterwards they would wash it off when the protection wasn't needed anymore. And then there's also a permanent sigil where start out the same way, you make it the same way, but you don't destroy it, and you don't ever wash it off. Some people will slide them under the mattress of a bed, behind a painting, put it in a sachet when they're doing a spell, and it just infuses it with that energy. But that is the idea of how to create sigils and what to do with them. Very powerful magic. I think it's personally one of my favorite types of magic, and you can use it for any type of intention. It's easy. It requires really nothing at all but a piece of paper or something to write on. So good question. But if you have any other questions about creating sigils, let me know. Okay, so let me jump into a couple questions that were sent to me. So the first question was from Tom. So Tom said, how do I recognize my own intuition so I can learn to follow it more? This is a big question that I get asked a lot. So very good question, and a lot of people are going to benefit from hearing this. So the first thing is it's a very common problem, so try not to feel alone. A lot of people experience this. I think the first piece of advice I have for anybody struggling with intuition is to figure out your type of intuition. So your type of intuition is not my type, and it's not your friend's type. It's your type of intuition. And so one of the biggest struggles for me in developing my intuition was I thought that everybody's intuition was the same. People talk about feeling it in your gut. You know what I feel in my gut? Anxiety. And so what would happen is that's all I was feeling. I was totally disconnected to my intuition because I couldn't tease those two apart. Until one day I realized that my intuition works totally differently. And mine comes through thoughts in my head. So really important to kind of clarify which type, how your messages come through. Some people are claircognizant. Some people are clairvoyant. Some people are clairaudient. Some people are a combination of all of those. And so if you want to learn more about the different clairs, I made an episode a few weeks ago. I will drop that in the chat afterwards for anybody who wants to check that out. But that would be my first piece of advice for someone who's kind of struggling to use their intuition, is figure out how yours works first. Okay. The other thing I will mention too, it's very common for people's intuition to be, more people are strong at claircognizance than they realize. And so it's very common for intuition to come through claircognizance, so through thoughts in the head. And one of the biggest stumbling blocks is, how do you tell if those are just plain old thoughts in your head or true intuition? And one way to really tell, I go into this in more detail in that video I mentioned, but one way is through the perspective. So claircognizant thoughts are often in the second person, so let's say you, instead of say I. So usually your thoughts in your own head are in first person. Claircognizant thoughts are usually in second person, so let's say you. They might even be in third person, so let's say like they or he or she. Generally not in first person. That doesn't mean they can't be. So some people's are, but most of the time they're not. So that's one way that you can look to differentiate it. The other thing is that claircognizant thoughts and your intuition is never going to be nagging. It's not going to be self-deprecating. It's not going to be torturing or tormenting. If you're kind of experiencing that, that is probably not your intuition. Okay, so that would be another way to kind of be able to tell the difference. Now, another piece of advice is to do some grounding. It's really hard to tap into intuition if you're ungrounded. So if you're having a lot of anxiety, if you're having a lot of fluctuating thoughts, if you're having a lot of unease, try the grounding tree meditation. Try different practices to ground. Take your shoes off, walk barefoot, put your forehead down. Try grounding poses like child pose. Put your forehead down on the ground, but figure out a way to ground. There's a great connection between the third eye and the root chakra. So therefore, grounding will open up our intuition if we do it. And then the other thing I would say is really working on self-belief, because another big thing that gets in people's way is self-doubt. So if you're constantly questioning whether that's an intuitive thought or not, it's not going to facilitate you moving forward to increase your intuition. So at some point, you know, once you sort of understand how your intuitive messages come through, you're doing your grounding, start working on kind of your self-belief. I would do work with the solar plexus to strengthen solar plexus. That will strengthen your self-belief. Do some fire magic. That can help. And then try the self-belief exercise, which is where you make a deal with yourself that you are going to trust your intuition. So when something comes through and it feels like it's an intuitive thought or an intuitive message, write it down. Don't question it, just write it down, and then see where it leads. See if it goes somewhere and it gets proven later, and that starts to show you what is an intuitive message versus what isn't. But we won't really move forward if we're plagued by all these doubts. And honestly, it does require, you're going to require a lot of work to get past it. But the first step is to kind of make that intention, that choice, that I'm going to trust myself, and I'm gonna play in this experiment as long as it takes until I feel that I understand what is my intuition. And for me, it took a long time to do it, but I can tell you that it works, and it is it's very rewarding at the end. But it is a lot of work of just kind of back and forth, grounding, you know, strengthening my self-belief. You know, really studying how the messages come through, but you can definitely get there for sure. So reach out if you have anything more specific about that. But I hope that helps. Now, John has a question about what to do when you feel that your progress in your practice has become stagnant. So really good question. I hear this one a lot as well. So it is important to normalize this. So sometimes people think I'm doing something wrong if things feel like they stagnate in the practice. And that isn't necessarily true. It could be that you're ready for something else. So shift the kind of script there, and maybe it's a positive thing, a positive marker is kind of pointing you towards something new to bring into your practice. So what I recommend people do is, if you feel stagnant in your practice, do something to shake it up. Find something that's different that you've never done. So try a totally new practice and add it into your daily practice. Like if you've never done walking meditation, try it. If you've never done candle gazing, try that. Drawing cards, like if you're not somebody who draws cards, try to do that. Activating breath work, kundalini, energy exercises, you know, whatever it is, like whatever your practice is right now, shake it up and do something different, and that will get energy moving in a different way. The other thing you can do is engage in an active conversation with the universe. So, you know, tell the universe, I want to engage. I want to hear messages coming through. I want to be more connected. I'm feeling stagnant. I'm feeling stuck. Help me. You know, setting that intention out to the universe can go a long way. The other thing I recommend people who are stuck, try playing the synchronicity game. So this is where you come up with a thought, an intention of any kind, you know, something you want to know about, and then take a couple of hours, at least take an hour. If you can't do a couple, take an hour of just really unstructured time. Go out in the world and observe the things around you, and notice interesting things that draw your attention to them, and see if they help to answer the question or the intention that you have. As you start to engage with the universe starts to engage back more. But all of this, like if these are things you've never tried, these are all the things that can shake things up when you're feeling stuck. And then another thing I would mention too, you know, just bringing a bit of the magical into your everyday life. So like if you're really stuck and you're kind of like grinding to a halt, and you're not doing much of anything, just see if you could just lighting a candle every day. I light the candles on my altar and burn them for a while, and just some simple act like that to bring a little magic into your day. Maybe carrying a stone that is associated with the day of the week, just some little thing. And then the final thing I would mention is following the lunar cycles. If you're not already doing that, that can also really help get somebody unstuck. So every day, keep a moon cycle journal. You write down the phase of the moon, and then just write down a few words about how you're feeling energetically, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. and then just kind of track your energy through the days of that lunar cycle, and you start to intimately know your own cycles better. That can also help get you unstuck. So I hope that some of that helps. If there's anything you want me to elaborate on, let me know. Um, but I hope that helps. And then finally, Kurt asked, what are some good ways to prepare for Samhain? So he said the veils start to thin, and what would be the proper environment to contact your ancestors? Also, when would be the best time frame to start preparing? Okay, so that's a good question too, because Samhain is right around the corner. So as far as the timing goes, really the veils start to thin after Mabon. Okay, so Mabon occurs at so let me back up a moment. The veils start to thin probably earlier than Mabon, but you'll start to really start to feel it once Mabon comes. Mabon is at the fall equinox, so generally around September 22nd, 23rd. That is where you start to really start to notice the days getting shorter and the veils getting thinner. So what I would recommend is after Mabon, that would be a good time to set up your ancestor altar, especially if you want to have some prep time to get ready and you don't want to just like throw it up right at Samhain, but maybe you want some time to kind of work with your ancestors, talk to your ancestors. So you could set up an ancestor altar, perhaps sit at it every day, every couple of days, once a week during those 6 weeks leading from Mabon to Samhain, and talk to your ancestors. Tell them about the things that you're doing. Ask them what they're doing. Ask them for help. If there's something you want their help with, let them know. Leave them some offerings during that time. So if they're ancestors that you know things about, you can leave specific offerings you know that they like during life. Or if they're ancestors that you didn't really know, leave some general offerings like wine or water, flowers, coins, things like that. Or ask them what kind of offerings that they would like. You can make ancestor incense. So just like activities like that to sort of get prepared. This would be a good time to do that. But a really good question, And then as far as that, there's nothing like so secretive about it. It's like, you set out the intention, you put up your altar, you make space in your life for your ancestors, and they will see that space and they will come. So if you have any more specific questions, let me know. But that would be my advice, to kind of start preparing as soon as in a couple of weeks. So. Okay, so hope that helps. So I'm going to see if there's any other questions in the chat here. Okay, so I don't see any here, but we do have time. If anybody has any other questions, last minute questions, let me know. I'm going to let you know what's coming up while we wait to see if there are any more questions. So next week on 8/20, this episode was actually supposed to have a whole other part to it, which is talking about the days of the week and what they say about you. So the day of the week that you were born actually tells a little bit about your personality. So next week we're going to dive into that in an episode called What the Day of the Week You Were Born On Says About You. And then on 8/27, I'm going to do a episode on banishings and protection magic right before the dark moon. And then later that week on 8/29, we have our free Introduction to Shadow Work workshop coming up. So this is a free workshop that I do. This particular workshop, I do this like 1 to 2 times a year. And it's a good dive into what is shadow work, how does it help witches progress their path, and other spiritual people. How does it help us progress our path? How does it enhance our magic? How do we do it? So if you've been wondering about shadow work, you've been wondering how to do it, how to get started, this is a great workshop for you. As we get closer to the end of the month, there will be a link in the Facebook group to join. If you're on our mailing list, you will also be able to you'll get emails about how to join us live on Zoom for that. And then of course we'll record that for anybody who will miss it. And then right after that, our Shadow Seekers membership is going to open up. So if you're interested in doing some shadow work, energy work with us, taking your spiritual practice to the next level, you might enjoy our Shadow Seekers membership. So that'll be coming up starting on 8:30 to 9/5 will be open. And then our Demystifying Witchcraft course will also be open starting in early September. So that is a course that it's basically all of my trainings that I do to initiate people into my own personal coven. We put them online and we take people through it, and you'll learn a ton about all the foundations and basics of witchcraft from start to finish. And for those who take the course, they also receive an invitation to potentially join the online version of our coven. So look for that early in September, if not sooner. I'm kind of working behind the scenes trying to get that ready as soon as possible. So thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It's always so wonderful to spend time with you guys. Let's see here. Sabrina said, will you ever do an episode, since we use moon a lot? However, I know there are times and days with sun. So like an episode on solar energy? Is that what you're wondering about? We can totally do that. Yeah, for sure. That was what I was going to mention here. And then Sabrina also, she's in our Shadow Seekers membership. She said it's totally worth joining. Um, so I was going to mention, if anybody has any suggestions for future episodes, I always take into consideration what people ask about. And if it's something I know about and I can teach, I will absolutely add it to an episode. So I'll add solar work to an episode as well. But if anybody has any suggestions, let me know in the comments, whether you're here live or in replay. I'm always looking for suggestions. Leave a heart or a thumbs up. That way it helps us get this into the feed of others. And if you're watching back later on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Body Mind Witchcraft. And that way you will never miss a single episode. All right, until next time, blessed be.